Right guys, welcome down to Finch Friday, your weekly golf Q&A. And as always, had loads and loads of questions which have come in, so I'm going to pick 5 out, go through them and answer them forthwith. This is going to be asked several times. This is from Dominic_Jarvis46. But do you think with Tiger being declared okay to partake in all golf-related activities, which was a really weird statement I thought, do you think he will win again? Other people saying, do you think he's going to retire if he has another setback and all the rest of it? Now, from my point of view, I am delighted to see Tiger back swinging. If he's going to actually get back to anything like he was, I doubt it. I think there's certain things which have gone on over the last year, last 2 years really, which show that his body just isn't up for the stress and the strain that he used to put on it. If he can adapt and change and still win, I don't know, because Tiger is a player who consistently has defied convention, who has consistently risen above any challenge which has been put in front of him. He won the US Open on a broken leg. That is how good he was. So if he can come back and if he can compete again, I really, really hope so. I do not think that golf is done with Tiger, and I think Tiger still needs golf, especially after what's been happening over the last year as well. So it is my sincere hope that he comes back. It is my sincere hope that he wins again. The only issue that he's going to have is in the time period that he has not been playing consistently, which has been a number of years now. The rest of the players out there have gotten much, much better. If you have a look at someone like Spieth, like Justin Thomas, these players are really, really starting to go full steam ahead. We're showing no sign of slowing down. If they can start to reach the heights of Tiger, I doubt it, because he was such a special player, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited about the news he's back. I just hope that when he does come back this time, he doesn't go off with another injury, because if he does, I think that would be probably time to call it a day. Okay, this question from Colin_Scully2812. Hope I pronounced that correctly, but would you recommend to wait until after silly season to buy clubs? And that is a perfect way to put this, because at this time of year, when the season is coming to an end, all the manufacturers are starting to come out with new products and are starting to try and entice people to buy clubs going into next year. Silly season is an appropriate name, and if I'm being honest with you, I wouldn't be buying clubs around this time of year, especially not the new ones. What you have to be looking at is when these new clubs come out, especially now, there's nothing which, as far as I'm aware, is on the horizon which is going to really push the envelope forward. There's slight incremental improvements with most things, but there's nothing coming out there that I'm thinking, oh my God, this is an absolute game changer. When companies bring a new iron out, when companies bring a new driver out, have a look at their 2-year-old product, see how much that is actually going for, and maybe go for that over the new one. The fact is, in the last 2 years, there has not been a massive improvement on the products that have been brought out. Like I said, small incremental improvements, but they're all much of a muchness. Every now and again, you do get that big jump. So when the SLDR came out, with the weight being moved further forward to reduce spin, stuff like that, that was a jump forward for me. That really did make a difference. And there have been different examples as well. Please comment below what you think those big differences are. But at this moment in time, there's nothing coming out which is going to make a massive, massive impact as far as I'm aware. I might be wrong about that. So I would look at clubs that are a few years old first before plumping for something new. So a question here from Big T's UK. I'm going to paraphrase this. There's a slightly funky sentence in here somewhere. I want to know, at Peace Finch Golf, what are the main differences, I think that's what he meant to say, between a good golf iron and, say, a Dunlop iron. I know a guy who's a 4 handicap and says he plays with Dunlop and says expensive clubs are just blah. It is a good question. When you're buying a new premium golf club, so let's go right to the top end, let's say a PXG iron, and when you compare that to what I would class as a good cheap iron, so a Ben Ross iron, for example, what are the differences there? What are you likely to see? Now, one of the big differences that I tend to see is the consistency that you will get out of a better club. Now, not so much a Ben Ross, because I think Ben Ross make good clubs, but let's go down to that end of the market. Let's say a Ben Ross club, which I would say is a good value product, to, let's say, a Dunlop iron. If you strike a Dunlop iron out of the toe or out of the heel, the performance on those missed strikes, on those bad strikes, will be greatly reduced when compared to that Ben Ross iron, which has a higher manufacture grade. Now, that is not to say that someone will find a set of Dunlop clubs and not be able to get on with them, or would find a set of, I don't know, Donne clubs, Donne slammers, and not get on with them. It's perfectly possible. However, the consistency throughout the bag and the quality of that club being made, I would still plump for a more expensive option. Now, the other end of this, again, I'm like flying up and down the scale here, but if you compare, say, a PXG iron to a Ping iron, now, is a PXG iron worth it, like the extra 500, 1,000 pounds for a set of those irons rather than a Ping? I would say no. I would say once you get up to the premium end of the market from a TaylorMade, a Ping, a Callaway, take your pick out of those top manufacturers. Their products are very good and they are much of a muchness. Then you get the jump to the premium brand, so like a PXG, I don't think the difference is that great. I may be wrong about that, but I've tested them side by side and there isn't a massive amount of difference. When you start to get to that top end of the market, that is more about status. That is more about aligning yourself with a brand that you feel you share values with. So the bottom end of the market, yes. Top end of the market, not so much. A question here from Jakey Matthews 18. Do you think Nike have truly stopped making hardware, or do you think they're working on something behind closed doors? Love the videos, ! Thank you very much. No, everything that I've heard so far would indicate that they have completely stopped. They are out of the club manufacturing process. The oven, their headquarters that they had to produce all the golf clubs, is currently lying empty and there's nothing going on there. For them, I think they've made a pretty drastic move to actually move out of that market. So they're no longer involved in hardware. They're changing a lot of what they're doing at green grass stores. So I know that a lot of shops that had Nike stores within stores, that's what they were calling it, a lot of those have been ripped out. The swoosh accounts, so they were PGA pros that had swoosh accounts, a lot of those have been cancelled and stopped now as well. So there's big changes going on within Nike at this moment in time. And what that's going to look like moving into next year, I'm really not sure. But as far as I'm aware, there is nothing going on with the hardware side from Nike. So last question here from David K167, and there's a couple of questions about Bryson DeChambeau actually this week. Do you think that some of the unique swings that tour pros like Bryson DeChambeau are making amateurs not go for lessons, as they might think that they can make their own swings work? So the first thing to say is that Bryson DeChambeau didn't just naturally start swinging like this. He's been working with Mike Shee for a long, long time on trying to perfect his particular technique. And it's one thing that a lot of people seem to think with players who have a unique action. Players like Jim Furyk. Jim Furyk's been working with his dad on his coach. Dad on his coach? Dad on his coach. Jim Furyk has been working with his swing with his dad, who is his coach, all of his career. Again, he didn't just naturally start swinging like that. It has been honed, it has been fine-tuned. The same with everyone, same with Hideki Matsuyama. That pause, that is unique to his swing, but he works with a golf coach. Don't just think because someone is swinging in a slightly odd way that they don't have lessons. They do. A good coach will allow someone's natural attributes to be honed and to be improved upon. They will identify what is wrong with a unique technique, iron those out, and yet leave alone the things that don't actually make a difference. So don't get caught into that trap that thinking with players with slightly unique swings don't have golf lessons. They do. And if the very best players in the world with a unique swing have golf lessons, then maybe, just maybe, if you're an amateur trying to improve your game, you should go get them too. But I would say that, me being a golf coach, come see me. Right guys, thank you so much for watching this week's Finch Friday. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please comment below as always. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and comment down below. Follow me on other social media platforms which are linked in the description. And we'll see you down here next time.